Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, with me, Gretta Chamberlain, and the Realm of Beings. Shifting Impressions, which is one of the vehicles that supports the transmission of the Realm of Beings, is here to assist you in delving into your being by providing numerous topics and discussions for you to intake as you deepen your connection with your inner world. Shifting Impressions is here to assist you in strengthening yourself as you excavate to understand your true nature. Join us today and learn to shift your mindset, shift your thoughts, and shift your focus to recreate your life and produce a new you. Shifting Impressions starts now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. My name is Carol. I'm here with Gretta, and of course, the Realm of Beings. Leigh is not here with us, but we have a wonderful guest host named Kathy, and she has actually hosted before. So welcome, Kathy. We're happy to have you. To be here on Transformation Network every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. Pacific Time. Listeners, thank you for being part of this experience with us. These conversations will help you to look at your life and your creation of reality, to see what you're creating, how it affects you in your life, and how it shows up and shows you how to shift or change it to what you'd like it to be. If you're new to the podcast, each week Gretta receives a quote from the Realm of Beings, which she shares with us, and we will discuss. About midway of the program, Gretta will let the realm come through, and they will give us further information on their quote. This week, the quote is, "Loss and depression. Rise from the murky waters of your mind and smell the roses of contentment and peace." And I thought about this one a lot, to be honest. First off, depression and sadness, I think, are different. And loss can mean multiple things, including things that are intangible, like loss of a person or a pet. Obviously, that creates sadness, not necessarily depression. But the intangible losses, for instance, loss of opportunities that you did not choose to do in the past, or loss of opportunities. Did I just say that? I think I did. Loss of things that are not so tangible are the things that can make one depressed or bring in regret. And as someone who's been diagnosed as clinically depressed, I feel like I have a lot of experience in this and can tell you it's quite challenging at times. I think last week's podcast helped sum it up about loss versus or failure versus success. And I try to wake up each morning and choose to not be depressed. And it's like an ongoing battle. I mean, there are times I feel like right in my peripheral vision is the proverbial door that depression is knocking at, trying to get me to let it in. And I really have to not let it in. And it's an ongoing situation. And I'm not sure if that's what the realm had in mind, but let me hear what everyone else would like to weigh in, please.
See, I think that depression is one thing. The murky waters can hold that, but it can hold other things too that influence how you're going to approach your life, like anger. If you're a person that holds anger and rage, which is an extreme form of anger, you can have decided to be inside that space and that's a murky water as well. Other murky waters can be represented by sadness, feelings of not being worthy, feelings of creating opportunity that support you in not feeling good about yourself. So I think the realm is really talking about all those low vibrational things that can be included in the murky waters, But one thing, Carol, that I want to ask you is, what things have you been using to keep yourself out of being depressed?
Well, obviously QDRs, affirmations, and writing down things that help me to determine where the low vibration experience or challenge originated so that I can address it on that level. And obviously working with you has made the biggest difference in my life. So those are the things. And again, like I said, I wake up and decide, do I want to be depressed today? And most of the time my answer is no, I don't want to be depressed. So then it's, well, what are you going to do about it? It's the ball's in my court. It's my decision how I'm going to face the day. And I try to choose that I face it with bravery and smelling those beautiful roses. So that's
sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Kathy.
No, I was going to say, from one idiom to this idiom, murky waters. I mean, because it is an idiom, and the English teacher in me is kind of coming out. When I focus on the quote, rise from the murky waters of your mind. I mean, murky waters, just the word murky, it's foreboding. It encompasses all the things that you ladies, are talking about. You need to get out of your mind and into life. What you're basically describing when you decide, when you wake up, whether or not you want to wake up depressed or sad or whatever. And when I think of the murky waters, I see, even for myself, I speak for myself. I know I have, my mind has been in murky water, but how do I filter? How do I get out? How do I see my way out? Because murky means you can't see. And if you can't see that you are depressed, if you can't see that you are living more on the low vibrational side of things, then you can't change. You can't change. You can't improve, and you cannot enjoy your life. So, with the QDRs and the affirmations and everything, it helps. People don't understand, but it truly works. It truly helps. And Gretta is, working with Gretta and knowing you, Carol, and all the others that, are into understanding that we create our own reality. But we don't have to stay in the murky waters. So if we get out of that mind, all those thoughts, is when I think of the murky waters, those are all our low vibrational thoughts in that water. We can leave that. We don't need.
I agree.
But see, I think that what comes to my mind is that, let's take depression. If you are so depressed that you cannot get out of your bed to do anything, then how can you exit the murky water? See, that's what
Gretta, I have been there many times, and it was, in my case, it was just a matter of willpower, of me deciding that I don't want to be in this state of feeling depressed. I don't want to stay in bed all day and not accomplish anything. And I also look at things in a way that even if it's not a big accomplishment, I actually mentioned to someone the other day, I've been fighting the challenge of a cold the last week, and it's been making me feel really under the weather. I threw my garbage out yesterday. To me, that was a big accomplishment. So rather than sinking in and saying, oh, I just am exhausted. I don't feel well. I don't feel like I can do anything. This is depressing. I said, I'm going to do something. And that something was to throw my garbage out, which is quite a walk from where I live. So that was a big accomplishment for me. And that's another way that I try to fight that not staying in bed all day, being depressed. It's just even a little goal to accomplish.
I hear you, but I think even with if I understand what Greta is saying, how do you know when you're depressed? How do you know? You don't, you have, how do you know? Sometimes you just don't, know why you're doing what you're doing. And that's what Greta was talking. How do you know when you're in the murky waters? So what can we do to recognize that we're there? And then how do we get out? Well, I know you have to change your thoughts, but how do you know you even have the challenge that you even have to do that? And I mean, that's, to me, that's the rub. And that's the challenge for people that are suffering from depression. You have to recognize it in order to know what to do about it, in order to change it. Don't you?
I usually, depressed people do recognize it, and I can't exactly put it in words of how or why, but I just know on a day that I'm depressed, I just know it. And as I said to Greta numerous times, there's this feeling I get sometimes like it's knocking on a door trying to get in. And I feel that I'm constantly working on not letting it in.
One thing. No, go ahead, Carol.
No, I was going to say it's just hard to explain that it feels like there's this door right outside my peripheral vision, and depression is going, knock, 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 let me in. And I just say no.
Okay.
One thing that I like that you said, Carol, is that you took your garbage out. And, that might sound simplistic, but sometimes when you're in that condition that you've manifested for yourself, to do one little thing can help snap you out of that. Even if, like, I've worked with people that they're keeping their house clean or their apartments clean is a challenge, because you'll stand back and you'll look at the whole thing and you go, oh my God, look what I have to do.
Right. It can be.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. So I tell them, I said, look, find one corner in your house. Find one corner. Please just work that one corner. Straighten that one corner out. And then let's and do that. And I had a woman that, as she worked on her apartment, she sent me a picture. She sent me a picture of just a corner now, the before and the after.
Oh, that's nice.
Right. She would show me the before and the after. And I told her, I said, wow, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job, and maybe it's to get with a friend and say, look, I'm really having a challenge here. Can you, I want to show you what I've accomplished. That could be somebody you trust, somebody that is very familiar with, that you can say, hey, okay, this is what it looked like now. This is the change. And see what I've accomplished. Because with some people, it just can be just one thing. Like just moving a stack of papers, going through a stack of papers and getting through that stack, it might take 3 days, but you've accomplished. So I think, I know we say QDRs, I know we say affirmations, but I think also we need to add that physical part, which is let me tackle it bit by bit. And it's okay. It's okay to tackle it bit by bit. I don't have to do the whole forest. I can
Right.
hold a little shrub.
Hey, Greta, why do people want to even get to experience depression? And I mean, does it go through phases like where it starts off with like sadness and then it just goes deeper and deeper? They just go deeper and deeper and deeper into that state.
Well, one thing that people do is you can get depression from so many different places. One, you could have inherited it. Maybe there's other people inside your family that are have a proclivity toward being depressed. So that would be one way you got, Another way would be that you've gone through some type of trauma and you haven't come out of the trauma yet. So that can make you depressed. You can create for yourself a physical thing like getting fired from a job. There are different things that contribute to that work water that we create for ourselves.
I was going to say, because aren't you creating that? We're creating all of that. You're creating losing that job. So then you have to unpack, why did I create to lose that job? So if things are hereditary or things, lost love or whatever, we create everything that happens to us at every moment, correct?
Correct. We're responsible for it.
We're responsible.
But see, if you're a person that doesn't understand that you created that reality, then you don't understand that you can change it. So
right.
What we're saying here at the podcast is you don't have to sit down with anything. You don't have to sit down something you don't want to sit down with.
Right. You rise from the murky waters of your mind because it's all this, right? They're all murky salts.
Right.
So,
but you know what?
Yeah.
Remember, Kathy, I think when we were in California, one gentleman said, well, I've been going to all of these different types of affairs and studying all these classes, and they tell me to change my mind, but they don't tell me how.
How, exactly.
Right. You see. And some people might need to go to a therapist to work through that, and that's okay. Some people might want to try the essential oil that can help, going to a functional medicine doctor who can give you medicine outside of allopathic medicine if you're oriented toward that, can help you. So there are a lot of physical things that we can do, even though this condition is mental.
Right. That affects you physically too, though.
Absolutely.
Can for sure.
Absolutely.
In fact, physical reasons were a lot of times why I would go into depression because of it too. So,
give us some of your reasons, Carol.
Okay. Well, everybody is aware that I have very severe arthritis in my knees, and I had one of my knees totally replaced. I will have to have the other one replaced. But for a good, solid 2 years, I was in chronic pain every single day. And it wouldn't lessen, and I tried all kinds of treatments. Gretta helped me, and it was wearing me down. I was always tired because I was always in pain. And it there's a perfect example of something physical that can put you in a depression. It just wears you out. I mean, it's better now that I had the one knee addressed. And I have things to do to help the other knee so that I'm not in chronic pain all the time.
So the knees, go. Okay. No, I was going to say, so you created to have arthritis in your knees. So now I'm looking at your knees supported you in wanting to experience depression because you created to have this situation, this physical challenge. From my perspective, totally wrong, totally off.
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
I think that is part of it. The mental equivalency with the knees was not being able to move forward. Perhaps being depressed about things in the past is what caused the mental equivalency. But it's intertwined. And I think that us discussing these things and shifting the impressions we have and learning how to deal with various emotions will make the biggest difference in facing those challenges and helping us to move forward. I know it's done wonders for me compared to how it was before I met Gretta. I saw therapy. They didn't help me either, so.
Well, because I was on a walker for 6 years before I met Gretta.
I know. I remember hearing about that.
And I guess you could say I was probably moving into that state of, just lack of unconditional love of myself. And I loved my job. I loved teaching. And when I had to abruptly leave that because I was injured, I was devastated. I was truly devastated by that experience. And I created to wind up on a walker because I didn't, I wanted support. Gretta remembers all that, the support that I felt I needed, and that gave me that stability to even get around. And so I hear you, my sister. I hear, but it didn't happen overnight. And getting rid of the depression, like you're saying, once you learn to recognize it, that's when you start recognizing it. When you don't recognize it, it seems to me then there's a high probability you stay in the group of your mind. But when you recognize it, like Gretta and the realm has shown us, we're able to change our thoughts and change our realities.
And you saying, Kathy, about how it didn't happen overnight, going back to what Gretta said about the gentleman that you guys met in California, who said he's been going to all these different types of events and things. I think a lot of people, and I know I used to buy a lot of self-help books, a lot of people who are in a challenging situation are hoping for like an instant cure. Like, just give me, in medicine, it's like, give me a pill that's going to make me all better. In mental equivalency, give me the thought that's going to make my life a success. And again, it's not. It's an ongoing creation of reality constantly. And recognizing that has helped me tremendously. So I don't know what else to say to people. I mean, the things we've learned here and with the things that the realm has taught us, I personally have seen a big change in me for the better. Because that's what I want.
I know at one point, and I've said this on the podcast, when I was experiencing congestive heart failure, I had to look at the mental equivalencies. And usually for something dealing with the blood or with the heart, it's a basic mental equivalencies of a lack of joy. See, if people, we highly, highly suggest that you get that book, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. That'll give you some simple mental equivalencies so that you can look that up, because you don't know sometimes, why did I create something? Because see, the physical body, the conditions of your physical body let you know where your unconscious is. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely, Kathy. It lets you know where am I at? You know, when I was studying clinical psych, you know, I read in this book, it said, you never know where your unconscious is. But that's not accurate. You can always be aware of where your unconscious is, because look at your life. What are you being supported in? You know, are you having accident after accident? That's part of that murky water. Are you creating that? And that's anger.
That's definitely anger.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And mine, lack of joy. The doggone thing took me 5 years. And I didn't even realize that I had gotten rid of it until the doctor, my first doctor, internist, was moving. In fact, interestingly enough, moving to California. And he said, well, Greta, I'm going to turn you over to another doctor. So he said, but before I go, I want you to take all these heart things so we can see what your heart is doing. So I went and took all of these little tests, I guess the echocardiogram, whatever else they gave. And I came to my new doctor. He was going over my records and going over the test results. So he finished the test results, and I said to him, you didn't say anything about my heart. So I said, what? I said, what about my heart? And he said to me, what about it? And I said, well, what's going on? He said, no, your heart's fine. I could have jumped up, did the holy dance right there in that man's home. I didn't even know that my heart was all right until he told me that. You know, I just know that if anybody's experienced congestive heart failure, you know it's challenging for you to breathe. It was difficult for me to walk across the street. If I walked across the street, I felt like I was about to die, trying to grasp for breath, And I said, doggone it, I'm well. And, I said, no wonder I was to feel better, because I was accepting being able to breathe. I was accepting that, but I wasn't focused on the part of I cured myself. I thought I was still out there trying to cure myself. I was running. I was doing Chinese medicine. I was doing naturopathic medicine. I was running to the health food store. What you got? Take grape seeds. Okay, give them to me. I was just going. I had decided in myself, I don't want to live with this.
Well, you know what? My cardiologist told me this, that you told me to go to the same thing. He said, I'm going to take the same thing I told you 3 years ago. You're shortness of breath. You weigh the same. You got to get the weight off. So he said, you have the heart of a 30-year-old. Said, but you got to get the body back to one of a 30-year-old. And I said, I got you, Doc. So that's what I'm working on. But yeah, that's no joke. Taking care of your health and changing your thoughts.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Gretta, would you be kind enough to tell the listeners how you addressed your congestive heart failure? I think that would be very informative for the listeners, and what caused it to go away because of what you actually did.
Well, I did a lot of physical things like I just said. I wasn't going to sit down and accept the fact that I had this, because one thing I realized I want to share with the audience is that we can cure ourselves from anything, But if you sit around and go, oh, woe is me, then you're going to be swimming around there in the murky water.
Yep.
So I was determined. I said, I got to get rid of this. I have a child. I can hardly walk around. I'm feeling like I'm going to die. I feel like I'm drowning because I can't breathe. Man, that was enough motivation for me.
It was enough for me too, Gretta.
So I just said, no, I can't. I'm not going to live with this. So then that's when I went to explore. I've always been in Chinatown a lot. So I went to the Chinese doctor. He said, look, you sit down in the chair. It's not even a waiting room. I didn't even care about that. You sit down, and I forgot what he did. Put his finger somewhere, 2 fingers on to take my blood pressure. Told me to open up my mouth and looked at my tongue. And he said, okay, here you go. He gave me that medicine. I want you to know I took that medicine faithfully. And I pointed, to my heart. He said, okay, he gave me something else. And I went and I took that. Then I went to my naturopath. He was doing exercises on my body, moving my body, teaching me breath. Now, breath, when you can't breathe, is very important, So you should have seen me trying to breathe like my doctor told me to, and I'm already having trouble breathing. All right. But it's determination. It's determination.
Yes, it is.
Gretta, I was thinking about the way you spoke to your heart was what I was looking for you to share with the audience. The way you spoke quarter a day.
I speak to all parts of my body. People don't realize that every cell in your body is a living species. I'm not going to say living organism. I'm going to say living species. Just like we're humans, that's a species. Being a mitochondria, that's a species. So I communicated with my body saying, okay, come on. And especially to my heart. I talked to my heart. I said, first thing I told it was, I love you. I love you, because I wanted it to recognize I appreciated everything it was doing for me. I know that it was challenged as well, because it accepted to go through that experience with me. So I didn't see my heart separate from me. I saw my heart as part of me, and I'm saying, okay, I would talk to, come on, baby cakes. Come on, let's be nice. Let's keep on working with ourselves. We're going to improve. We are improving. And I just talk to it all the time. I might be driving down the road and I'd say, okay, heart, how you doing? Okay, do well. Because we talk to our children. Look at ourselves as being children that we are nourishing.
That's true. Never thought of it that way.
I love you. I love you. See, they want to know that you love them regardless of what they're going through and showing you. See, they're doing you a favor. My heart was doing me a favor. It wanted me to know that I wasn't having joy in my life. So that helped me I changed with that too.
Or create.
What did you say, Carol?
It's create, support, create. Your heart was supporting you. You were supporting it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it supported me in my lesson.
On that note, ladies, we're going to take a short break. And when we return, we will have the realm here to weigh in and give us their further knowledge on this week's chat. Please stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment. Thank you, listeners, for sticking with us. We are back, and we are at that portion in the show where we will hear directly from the realm of beings. Realm, are you with us?
Absolutely with you.
Love it. We have been discussing your quote, rise from the murky waters of your minds and smell the roses of contentment and peace. What would you like to tell us about that?
Everybody should go out and buy one rose. Put that rose in a vase where you can look at it every day and see its beauty. And then when you see that that rose is such a beautiful thing, transfer that feelings of beauty from that rose to yourself. Because each person, each one is a divine being. We say that almost every week. I don't care what type of personality you have. Everybody is divine. The personality is what keeps you in that murky water. You have a personality that wants to feel downtrodden. Instead of saying, oh, I'm a wonderful being. Remember, Gretta said one time she stood in the mirror and then put her arms around herself and said, I loves you, baby. Go and stand in that mirror. Tell yourself, I loves you, baby. You're a wonderful being. Talk to yourself. Talk to the cells inside your body. Let them know that you appreciate them. But at the same token, while you're saying, we appreciate the cells, make sure you talk, I appreciate myself. I love myself unconditionally. Many of us, in fact, quite a few, have chosen lessons that if you allow it, they will keep you in the murky water. You see. And then you want to stay there and commiserate with yourself. And then you wonder, why do I feel bad? You got to get up. Go to the gym. Do some sit-ups. Run around the block. If you can't run, walk. If you don't walk, walk around your living room. If you can't walk at all, then do something else that's going to help you feel your joy within inside your being. You know, they have coloring books for adults. Those of you who are aspiring artists, get a coloring book. Color that. Do something that makes you happy. Do something. That's why we're suggesting go out and buy yourself one rose. You don't have to get 12 or 15 or 17. Get one and look at its beauty and recognize that it is beautiful. And like we said, transfer those feelings of the beauty of the rose to the beauty of self. Be one within yourself. Because when you look at yourself as being in the murk and the mire, and there's no way out, you're really separating yourself from the divine that you already are. And you're saying, no, I'm not divine. I'm part of the murky water. So there you go. Swimming.
It's like being a victim.
What'd you say, Carol?
I said that's like making yourself a victim.
Absolutely.
And it's a lot easier to be a victim as far as like mental challenges go. It's a lot easier to be depressed than it is to be happy. Being happy takes more effort.
Yes, it does.
So,
But see, it depends. It depends on where you are in your life. Like those who have been taught not to love themselves, not to like themselves, not to appreciate themselves, then they like to stay in those go-tos, as we call it. They like to stay there because they're comfortable there. You see, they're used to it. They've been practicing to feel bad. You got to practice that, just like you practice anything else. We tell people, practice loving yourselves. That just doesn't come like that. Oh, I love myself. Yay! No. Some of you, it might take a while, but look at yourselves and say, yes, I can do this. Maybe I'm going to love myself just for 10 minutes, and the rest of the time you go into the murky water. But then the next day, say, I'm going to stay out of the murky water for 15 minutes. See, this is a retraining. It's not just an acceptance. We've said before, don't succumb, overcome. I'm going to say that again. Don't succumb, overcome. That's what this life is about. That's what this whole thing that you agree to come into this reality and practice. You're practicing, I'm going to say it again, you're practicing not to succumb, but to overcome.
I like that expression.
That's it. Let's stand up on our feet. Let's get going. Let's get moving. Let's move those muscles of our mind.
I like that you addressed to start it like slowly, because as we mentioned earlier with Gretta, sometimes we look at what needs to be done in our lives and it overwhelms us. So we end up frozen in place, afraid to start. But like you said, take 10 minutes of happiness. The next day, make it 15 minutes of happiness. I think that makes it more achievable and less overwhelming for people to think in that vein.
Yes, because if you've been practicing to be depressed for 35 years, then you're conditioned toward that. So it's important for you then to uncondition yourself. And we're not going to give you just one way to do that unconditioning. There's so many ways. And it was mentioned this morning. It was mentioned about the essential oils. It was mentioned functional medicine doctor. It was mentioned naturopathic doctors, naturopathic doctors, holistic doctors that are allopathic. Search out. Don't sit down and say there's no hope for me. Because first of all, hope is an illusion to begin with. It's not real. So stop sitting around and hoping you're going to do better with your lives. Start doing better with your lives. And when you start doing better, see the end result. Don't get stuck in the middle now. See it done. If your thing is to buy a house, don't say I'm going to buy a house or I'm going to change my living conditions. State it in the present. I am living in a changed environment. I am living in a safe and secure environment. You see, claim it, as they say in your language. Claim what you want. Claim it. Make it yours. See it yours. Yes. Incorporate it into your beingness. What were you saying, Carol?
No, I just said I think that's excellent advice, and I think that it's very easy to forget that, which is why I'm so happy to speak with you every week around, because you remind me about it. And I like to put it in practice right as soon as I'm done speaking with you. I actually go practice it. So I have seen changes in my life that I'm happy about. And I think it's completely due to the fact that you have taught me how to create reality in the way I want to create reality.
Absolutely.
So, thank you for that.
Well, I ditto that.
Absolutely, Kathy. We enjoyed hearing your story. We liked your story too, Carol. I don't want to think that we didn't like your story. We liked your story. We enjoyed listening to Kathy's story about getting rid of her walker. Yes. That took a lot.
Yeah, I have a question though, Ron. With the quote, I just can't, the word murky to me, and maybe I'm going on a whole different other level, but is it possible that people, why did you use the word murky? That idiomatic expression, because murky, when we have murky thoughts, it's almost like we're hiding from ourselves. We're hiding from the realities that we have created that we don't want to experience. So why did you choose murky? I'm just curious.
You know why we chose murky?
Why? I want to know.
It was because of Gretta's turtle.
Huh? Turtle.
No, Gretta had a turtle.
Water. But see, turtles like murky water.
Well, it was funny because Gretta had a turtle. It was her daughter's turtle. She went off and left the turtle with Gretta. And the turtle was growing. And Gretta thought she was doing a good thing. She bought a big tank, put the turtle in there with clear water. And you know what he did? He went and hid under a rock and didn't want to come out. He didn't like that clear water. You know why? Because he wasn't used to it.
Right. Murky.
So sometimes we put ourselves in a murky water like that turtle, and we want to stay there because we feel safe in it. Okay. And why do we feel safe in it? We feel safe in it because we feel protected by it. We are used to it. So therefore, now we can turn around and look at change. How many of us are fearful of change?
Too many.
The turtle didn't like change. So she had to go back. She gave that big tank away. We watched her. And then she put him back in the little tank. He was so happy. He was so happy. He was moving around. And he could come out, he'd peek, and the water started getting a little murky, and he was just as happy as he could possibly be. Just like us. We get in that murky stuff and say, okay, this looks familiar. I'm going to stay with that. And you know what that is. You all have been talking about it, and that's like a loop.
Right, looping. I had that down.
You like looping with people.
Can't see your way out.
Right. And you marry the same person over and over and over again. Or you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and you're doing the same. The person changes, but you're doing the same lesson over and over and over and over again. But why do you like to do it? Because you feel safe in it. See, we can feel safe in the murky waters now.
Mm-hmm.
We can feel safer in the murky waters than we would in the clear waters.
Well, the murky water allows you to be hidden.
That's what I said.
And if you're hidden, you feel others won't see you.
Absolutely. Both of you ladies are saying the same thing. The murky, it helps you feel safe. It helps you keep up the loops. But when you go clear water, then you got to look at yourself.
Don't want to do it.
And say, yes, you're right, Kathy. Many people don't want to look at themselves. Why? Because they are afraid to look. They are afraid to look. That deals with change. You know, I don't want to change. I like being the way I am. And everybody else is looking at you going, why would you want to be like that? But you're just as happy and go lucky in it, you know. But the thing is that, you know, when you go into the next transitional portal, the thing is that you're going to take it with you in the first place. So you might as well work to get rid of it right now. Stay in this now. Embrace change. Change that is of high vibration. Because, see, change can be of low vibration as well now. You can change your life. You can be free and easy going through your life, and then you create something that you wind up behind bars. So that's a change right there. It's just a change. Well, some people like to go back into bars because they feel safe there. There are people that do that, you know, put themselves back in jail because they feel secure. They don't have to go out and work. They're fed, you know. They don't have to worry about where am I going to live? How am I going to pay the rent? So they go back to jail, sit down. Yeah. And then the rest of us look and say, why would you want to go back to jail? Because we can't even begin to perceive of the understanding of that. Why would anybody want to choose that? But that's because from your perception, you would never have chosen that. But from that person's perspective, they chose it. You see. So the thing is, do you feel safe in the murk? Or do you feel safe in the clear? Do you want to swim like the turtle in the murk? Or you want to swim like the dolphin in the clear? Which way do you want to go? Now, let me say this. Either way is okay.
Yeah, let me ask you that.
Yeah, either way is okay because it's a lesson. In the clear water, you see lessons. In the murky water, you see lessons. Lessons abound in this reality that you have decided to come and entertain yourselves with.
I want to change the TV station. Sometimes my murky waters, boy, I'm telling you, you know, it's like I know change my thoughts and I can change the water. I just get
absolutely
filter. Just get a filter. That's what I'll get. I'll filter my thoughts. I'll filter my thoughts and make drinkable water out of murky water.
Absolutely. Because as we stated from the beginning of this podcast, you can change at any point in time. Either way. Sometimes you can be in the clear and then you can feel guilty about being in the clear. You know? So therefore you'd say, well, give me a little murk so I don't feel so guilty. You know, there are a lot of reasons why people like to swim in that murky water now. Yep, doggy. They like
Oh,
that.
make me think, and then my thoughts of thinking, just thinking. Ah, thoughts.
Absolutely.
I'm just a thought. I'm just a thought.
That's what comes, Kathy, with living in this reality. You see, we chose to come here. Even though we have no physical body and we are speaking through Gretta, but we still have a creation of reality within this reality for ourselves. Nobody, nothing is free of creation of reality, ever. So you gotta choose.
Enjoy it.
Yes. That's why I was saying go out and buy yourself a rose. Put it inside a vase and look at it and say, look how beautiful that rose is. You know, you might even want to stand in the mirror and put the rose next to you and say, I'm as beautiful as this rose.
Just going to say that, Realm.
Yep.
A picture of myself.
Absolutely. You want to see yourself wonderful. You want to see yourself a beautiful being. Don't get caught up in the fact that you are heavy, too heavy, or too small. There are people that are skinny that are saying, I want to gain weight. Then there are people that are heavy, I want to be skinny.
I just want to be healthy.
That's the thing. Health. Keeping yourselves in. But health is not only just physical. Health is mental. Health is psychological. Health is spiritual as well. All of those things bring you health in high vibration. Health in high vibration. Yes. Yes, that's what that is.
And the other word in the quote I think we should remind people about is peace.
Yeah.
Because when you're in peace, you generally tend to not be depressed.
Well, but look at this. You can be in the murky waters and be in peace. You're happy to be there. It's very peaceful to you because you recognize that's where you want to be. So peace is always determined by the person who wants to be in the peace. How do they see peace? Do they see peace in the clear water or do they see peace in the murky water? See, we don't want to just assume that the murky water is the worst thing ever.
Especially if you're a turtle.
Very happy. Yes, look at the turtle. He was a big turtle. He enjoyed swimming around in that murky water. Well, that was his choice.
Well, we have a few seconds left. Is there any final words you'd like to close off the podcast with?
Yes. I wish we had a song. I feel like singing. But anyway, it's okay. The one thing we want to say is be aware of loving yourselves at every moment of your existence. Be aware of that. Stay in love with yourselves first. Some of you are looking for a mate or a husband or a domestic partner to be with. That's fine and good. That's a wonderful experience. Some of us find some that give us a run for our money, though. But that's okay, too, because this whole thing is nothing but lesson. Well, what we say to you is, before you fall in love with someone else, fall in love with yourselves.
Fabulous. Fabulous, splendid thing to remember at all times. Realm, thank you again. Listeners, as always, thank you. Kathy, it was a pleasure having you here. So we create each other again. Everyone enjoy your week.
Once again, thanks for joining us at Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on TransformationTalkRadio.com. As you have explored today's creation of reality experience with the realm and me, Gretta, each of you is being supported by us in further developing the understanding that you are not just an individual existing in linear time and space, but a multidimensional force of infinite possibilities who is connected to all. So begin to create the realities you want. Join us every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Shifting Impressions at TransformationTalkRadio.com. So long until we create each other again next Friday.